But I am back, and I am back for another great series with a phenomenal group of women. So, before we get started, for those of you who are new to my live, who don't know who I am and what it is that I do, my name is Dr. Carey Yazeed. I'm a book coach, and back in October, I released an anthology called Shut 'em Down: Black Women, Racism, and Corporate America. And coming in February, I have a new anthology that is coming out, which is called Can't Tell Me Nothing: The Uncomfortable Hair Truths of Black Women. So tonight, I have some of my contributing authors from the anthology who are going to be speaking about hair discrimination. So we know that there's been a lot of shoo-shooing about the Crown Act that House of Representative Cedric Richmond from New Orleans, woohoo, Louisiana. He actually presented. It passed the House of Representatives, and so we're waiting for the Senate to, make it a bill. But let's have an honest conversation about hair discrimination in the workplace, in schools, and just in public settings in general. So I am going to actually allow allow the panelists to introduce themselves to you all. So we are going to start with Roshana Arnold. So Roshana, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Roshana Arnold. I am the owner of Brand New Career Coaching, LLC. I'm a career coach, and I help professionals build a professional brand through resume writing and networking strategies that help them to their dream job.
All right. Thank you, Roshana. So next we are going to have Aisha Fuller. So Aisha, tell everyone out there on LinkedIn who you are.
Hi, my name is Aisha Fuller, and I am an HR professional and a lover of all things faith, family, and finances. And I am here I love to see people live their best life. And so this opportunity to write and provide a perspective on this topic was something that was near and dear to me. So I really appreciate the opportunity to do that.
All right. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Aisha. And jumping in here, last but not least, is we have Jasmine Bradbury. So, Jasmine, introduce yourself to everyone out there on LinkedIn.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine. I'm so sorry I'm late. I tried to get on with my computer, but I couldn't. So I decided to use my phone. I am so grateful for this opportunity. Thanks to Dr. Carey. And I've always wanted to be a writer, but I never really went into it. She actually helped me with a lot of confidence and everything to come out of my shell with joining this project. And I work in human resources right now, recruiting and onboarding. And I have a lot of experience with corporate and definitely with the topic that we're talking about today. So thank you so much. And I'm so happy to be a part of this project.
All right. Thank you so much, Jasmine. So, ladies, we're going to go ahead and get started. And it looks like our audience is also ready for this conversation because who was that? Gaynell said, bring it on. All right. So they ready for y'all to tackle these questions that we have. So our first question for the evening is, do you believe hair discrimination is a form of race discrimination? Again, do you believe hair discrimination is a form of race discrimination? Who would like to go first? All you have to do is unmute your mic and let's start this conversation.
I'll go first. I believe, yes, it is. You can't say that you accept someone into a work environment because of their skin color, but you completely negate the fact that their hair grows out of their head entirely different. And I can personally think of clients that I've worked with who will wear their hair natural and wear big fros and go into the office. And even though people don't say that they don't accept them, it's felt. So, and these are people who will actually write in their disclaimers for their job that we're a diverse and inclusive community. So you can't have one without the other. You have to make sure they all go hand in hand. And I feel like if we're going to talk diversity, we need to talk diversity of everything. And that includes our hair, and that includes how we present ourselves. That includes if we, especially as Black women, because we're in these roles of authority, we always have to be seen, and we're always on the go. And you can't tell somebody, oh, wait, you need to straighten your hair to like everybody else at the corporation if that's not your true mission. So I do think it's a form of race discrimination, or I think both are basically discrimination.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree. Jasmine.
Yes, I would like to piggyback off of what she just said when she said you can feel it. You definitely can feel it. I know from my experience in working in corporate, as being a Black woman, we switch up our hair. We have that right. We have that freedom to do so. And when you work around a lot of people that don't have hair like you or don't look like you and have a different skin color from you, it intimidates them. I used to rock my afro sometimes, wear my hair out sometimes, or wear a puff, or even if I switch up my hair and like wearing faux locks, I really got a different reaction on how people treated me when I had faux locks. They looked so realistic. People thought they was my locks, but the difference on how people treated me and spoke to me and approached me from when I had the faux locks and then when I had switched into a wig was like two different, like it was so surreal how their attitude changed towards me. It was a wake up call for sure.
Child had the whole mic on mute. Okay, Aisha, do you think we gonna make it through today? Do you think that hair discrimination is a form of race discrimination?
I definitely do, because I definitely can say that working in a higher education environment, there are often times where that's the first thing that's mentioned when African American women, men walk into the room is what their hair looks like. I remember a while back we had a candidate that came in and he was running late for the interview, and the first thing that caught the attention, of course we had already, you know, we were aware that he was late, but when he came in, that was the first thing that was kind of used as a way to belittle him in a way of actually just being there. So I definitely say it is a form of racism. I mean, there have been times when other individuals have been late, and it's just like, oh well, I'm sure they're just running late, and if they run in, hair is wet or slightly, loose and unkempt, it's okay. It's just, let's push it back, and the silkier the better, and just slide it down and it's fine. But I know if our hair shows any form of any kind of tension or quarrel and it seems out of place, I definitely feel like we get judged a lot harder on it.
Yes. Now, someone actually asked in the comments, they wanted to know if we could touch on when Black women don't like seeing other Black women wear natural hair at work. Anyone experience? Oh, y'all all looking like, okay. Well, let's talk about it. Like that. That was not one of our questions, but we are definitely going to tackle that one. So thank you. I can't see who actually proposed that question out here, but in LinkedIn. But thank you for the person who did propose that. So Roshana, we're gonna let you go first, but it look like everybody got something to say about this one. So go right ahead.
I think it's the good old crabs in the barrel. I'm confident enough to wear my natural hair, and whatever your journey was, you struggle with your confidence. So let me try to tear you down in the process. I honestly think that's really what a lot of it has to do with. And then it could also be ignorance. I think we as Black women we've been programmed to believe a certain way about our own hair. We are uncomfortable. Some of us are even doing our hair. We say we have bad hair. We complain about how long it takes. we're always throwing wigs on because we think it's maintenance when we're actually damaging our edges and damaging our hair. And seeing somebody come into an office and not subscribe to that and still successful, it can be a bit, and then also with the ignorance as well. So.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Aisha, what do you think?
I oftentimes like to place it as the maybe they're coming to help me type behavior, that they're thinking that they're doing me a favor if they've been in the environment or working in that particular department or area for a long period of time, and I come in with my hair, in a natural form, or I've even heard it referred to as, oh, your hairstyle's too ethnic. So it's almost like, well, what exactly does that mean? Why? Who else should I show up as? And so, and oftentimes I would definitely say I'm not sure if it's the fact that they're sent to correct the issue or if it's their own personal belief. So it's sometimes kind of hard to say exactly where is it coming from. But I definitely can say it does tend to come a little different when it's our own coming to, I guess you can say, correct us or look out for us.
I'm trying to close my mouth on too ethnic and coming to correct us. But and I you are right, but I think me hearing it from another Black woman that is that just wasn't taking place in my head, that this is actually a thing, and that other Black women have actually said this to other, like I've had it said to me. But we often think I'm the only one that this has happened to, and we don't realize that it's happened to other sisters out there as well. So thank you, Jasmine, because you were shaking your.
Well, for me, in the workplace, I've gotten some Black women, you just get the stares or the looks. And then a lot of them, they actually compliment, and they like, because you inspire them, because like you said earlier, like, you're not conforming to the normal lies, society, what beauty is supposed to be in society. So you're wearing that hair and you're rocking it, you're confident in it. And I get a lot of people that was like really inspired by it, so they wanted to wear their hair like that, and it brought on a lot of questions and everything of that. But I've mostly gotten the ignorance from Black men. That was the shocking part. I had Black men, they go by the stereotype where Black women don't have long hair, or if I would have worn my hair out, like I'm probably blow dried out or straight, is that your hair? That's not your hair. You're lying, or something of that nature. I had a man come up to me one time and pulled my hair, like, to see, and run away to see if it was real, because he didn't believe me. It was ridiculous.
Because you actually talk about that in the book about the man who pulled your hair. And so when I saw that, I was just like, wait, no, I called him a couple of names. Did not tug on her hair to see if it was a wig. And even if it was a wig, even if it was extensions, your money paid for it. So it's still your hair. Like that's my whole philosophy on that. It's still yours. You purchased it. So all of this is it your hair? Yeah, it's mine. You gonna reimburse me for it? Like, regardless of how I got it, like it's mine. Why we having this discussion? But like somebody just said, like, wait, they wanted to see how real it was. Like, yes, this has happened to Black women. Now I know when I had locks, because at one time in my life I did have locks, and I would get the "can I touch it?" because this was before the natural hair phenomenon. So we didn't have the faux locks, and if you had locks, they was because you had them gruesome locks, your hair had locked up. And I would have people who wanted to touch them because they had never like seen locks. I was in South Louisiana, they had never touched them. And so we had those kinds of things going on. And depending on who it was, I might take a strand and say here, but for the most part, I don't know where your hands been. Like, I just, it's kind of like the pregnant woman and everybody want to touch her stomach. Like, it's just some parts that it's your body and people are invading your space. Um, and you do have people who are not knowledgeable. So I won't say ignorant, but they're not knowledgeable about the different types of hair care. As Roshana pointed out earlier, we have been conditioned to believe and think a certain way about our hair. And it hasn't been to embrace our natural hair. In the book, a lot of the women talk about their first perm. And it wasn't until I started reading their stories that I realized I wasn't the only one who all their hair fell out their head when they got their first perm. I'm going on 52. And so all these years, I have always thought that I was the only person who all her hair came out her head when she got her first perm. Now, if the perm went correctly, I would have had hair down my back. Perm did not go correctly. So big chunks fell out in the shampoo bowl because I saw the girl throwing the hair in a trash can. That's how bad it was. Then she had to cut it in a Holly Berry bob. And Holly Berry wasn't popular at that point in my life. Okay. So I am 12 years old and I have like this young adult haircut, not going real well. And I had a crazy mama. So, and a crazy mama with long hair. So I also had the colorism going on. So when she came in and her daughter no longer had long hair, where everybody in the salon got cussed out. And then she told them how she wasn't paying for it because that wasn't what she paid for. So, but I had always been conditioned. My hair had to be long. My hair had to be straight. My hair needed to be a certain length. I needed to look a certain way. And just natural hair, locks, short little teeny weeny afro was just frowned upon. And it was just like, you going through a phase? What's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? So yeah, somebody said my poor edges. Yes, yes. And somebody said they noticed that with babies, like with little kids, that people are wanting to touch their hair. Like, can I touch your hair? And so I think we have to start at an early age of really conditioning our kids and talking to our kids about, especially our daughters, about the importance of having natural hair and embracing who they are as women. So this is a great conversation, y'all. Great. I'm loving this. So let's see. Number 2. Should diversity training programs include a learning module on hair acceptance? So, Roshana, you kind of talked about this in the beginning about if we're going to talk about diversity, take it away, girlfriend.
Yeah, I pretty much wrapped it up in the beginning already, but I do think we do so many diversity trainings, and when you look at them, they're so basic and so general. But we really need to get down to like the nitty gritty of the issues, with hair being one of them. I do think we need to talk to people about the main thing: don't touch my hair. That should be across the line. I'm not a pet. Do not pet my head. And then also be mindful of, we talk about facial expressions and nonverbal cues. You need to also be mindful of how you're looking at someone as well, and how that makes someone's feels and the energy that you're putting across. And just people need to understand, especially having natural hair. It's not where I know other races, generally speaking, they can wash their hair every other day. We can't do that, and it doesn't just take a couple of hours. Even if you do a twist out and you take it out, however it looks, you just pray and hope it comes out normal. Or decent, not normal, excuse me, but decent. So and then if you have to do like a presentation that day, or you have to be in a business meeting, that's a lot of pressure to worry about. And people need to really understand that. It's like, I'm already stressed out because my hair didn't come out the way I want to. Now I got to go in this meeting, and then you're going to look at me like I'm crazy or say something off-putting. So that really needs to be included in diversity training as well. And then with us having all these African-American women in these roles of prominence, we really need to push for that, because being natural is really starting to come around and make a shift in corporate America. And that needs to be embraced just as much as race is.
Good points. Very, very good points. And thank you for sharing that. Aisha and Jasmine, what do you guys think? When, we have all these big companies that, since all this stuff took place last year with, back in Minneapolis, and we had the riots that took place, and companies coming out and saying we're doing diversity and inclusion training. Do you feel that when they're talking about, accepting other people from different backgrounds, we need to be including hair? Let's see,
Absolutely, they
Aisha.
should.
Definitely.
Oh, Jasmine. Yeah, both of you saying,
Definitely.
yeah,
To
they
Rashana,
should. Oh, go ahead.
definitely. To Rashana's
And
point, there needs to be some idea of how to communicate. It just needs to come back to how do you give the proper compliment. I mean, oftentimes we feel like we have to dissect someone to give a compliment. Oh, I love your hair looks different today, or you did something different, or is that and this is one I kind of always kind of hear, and it kind of touches a nerve just the way sometimes it's said. I like that outfit. Is that new? What does that mean? Is it new? If it's new to you, it's the first time you saw it. What just is it's a nice outfit that looks nice on you. Just convey the message of you look nice. You don't have to deconstruct why, how, what way did it happen. The shoes, the just it's nice, and I think that's what we've got to get back to when we talk about diversity and inclusion. Learn how to communicate just in a way that conveys the message correctly and consistently. That to me just it irritates me even when I think about it. Just saying that of the you look nice. Is that new? That bothers me. It really does.
It's all in the language. Very, very true. Jasmine, can you hear me?
can you guys hear me?
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Okay, because the sound it's going in and out for me. If I keep trying to adjust it, but um, to talk about the training and learning acceptance for our hair, they should have that because I feel like when they do these training modules and programs, they sort of in a way kind of skip over us. They talk about other races and accepting what's the do's and the don'ts in other races like Asians and people that come from other countries, and they totally skip over the issues that we have in our country and with Black community and their Black employees. And they it's like they kind of avoid it in a way, and then they think it's okay and it's not. And it should be do's and don'ts told for our hair, because I've gotten a lot of backhanded compliments on my hair. And like you said, it should, like, certain things you should not say to a Black woman or Black man for that matter with natural hair. And it's offensive. And they need to, teach that, because they don't really know for sure that it's offensive until it's too late. Or if you say something, and then working in corporate, you don't want to say something too wrong. And then because we're always going to be looked at or get in trouble for anything that we say, because we're all eyes on us. So you don't want to say something to a person of Caucasian race, and then you might get in trouble just for defending yourself. So
And that's a very good point, that a lot of people do not speak up or tell you, that it's just kind of like, and someone is saying it in the comments about like the days when we actually had the zoos where they actually had humans in the cages, and we were put on display. And people could come and touch us, and so we were treated like we were pets. And the thing is, the repercussions when we're in the workplace, a lot of times we don't say anything because you don't want that backlash, or you don't want to be seen as the angry Black woman or the bitter Black woman, or oh, she has a problem. Then if you say something and you got your natural afro, you really gonna be seen as the militant Black woman. They put us in all these different categories. There was a comment that one person made, that said, and I want us to talk about this, and because this pertains to me more so than natural hair in the workplace, because this was kind of the path that I would follow. Some people are not comfortable going to job interviews with natural hair. I can definitely attest to that. And up until recently, but when I would go through my natural phases, when natural hair was not in, before the big phenomenon, many, y'all know I'm older, so many moons ago, okay? And so I would take breaks. So when I wasn't working, I would cut the perm out my hair, have a teeny weeny afro, grow my locks. But whenever I knew I was going back into the workforce, I would actually cut my locks off and get a perm. Like as I'm starting the whole interview process, because I knew, again, I stay in South Louisiana, and at that time, natural hair was not even being, there were no books on how to care for natural hair, okay? So I had to conform if I was going to get a job. And actually, this when I conformed that time, was newly divorced. I was going to take into care of 2 kids. I needed to go back into the workforce. So that meant that I was going to have to make a sacrifice, and that sacrifice was going to have to be my hair. I had to have a certain look to get the job that I wanted. And I remember I cut my locks off at home and put them in a little Ziploc bag. I went to the hair salon, and she knew I had locks. And when I walked in, well, the whole salon knew. So when I walked in, everybody gasped, right? And then it was just like, are you having a waiting to exhale moment? Did you burn up somebody's Mercedes? Like, girl, what's going on? And so I had to explain, like, I'm going back into the workforce. I need a perm. I need to look the part. And we had a whole conversation in the hair salon about why I was having to do that just to get a job. So it's very real. And that was about, I'll say 15 years ago. But recently, in 2019, was going on a job interview, had my little teeny weeny afro, had just got it because I had just got all the perm cut out. And I said, I'm not going to get a perm. I don't have time to go get no wig. They're going to have to take me as I am. That had to be the worst interview because it was me and another Black woman sitting in there. This was higher education. And you could feel the stares, but it was at my hair. There was nothing. I was neat. I had on pearls. I had on a Calvin Klein professional dress. I knew my information. But for their institution, even my short afro did not fit in with the culture of their institution. And at that point, I said, this is not the best place for me. If I have to change who I am to come here, so, as you get older, your thinking changes. So I was just like, look, I'm not going to get enough perm in my head. I don't feel like putting we in South Louisiana, it's hot because it was summertime. It's hot. I'm not putting no wig on. If these people can't accept this little itty bitty afro that I just got, shaped up by the barber, I can't work here because this is who I am at 50. This is me. And if you can't accept me, then this is not the place for me because you're going to want me to constantly keep conforming and changing. And one day it's going to be my hair, but the next day it's going to be something else that you find an issue with. So for the person who left a comment about Black women not being comfortable going into an interview with, natural hair, that is so true. And it was true for me 15 years ago, and it was true for me back in 2019. But 2019, I just made the choice that I'm not doing it anymore. Like I'm not jumping through hoops. Y'all gonna take this Calvin Klein dress and these pearls and this teeny weeny afro because a sister knows her stuff. My hair should not be the deciding factor on if I get this job or not. And no, they did not hire me. They hired the Black woman who had the perm and who looked the part. And that was confirmation. And I actually was more qualified than she was. Because I went and researched her. But Anyway, so thank you everyone for the comments that you all are leaving. They are really, really good. So let's see, I think we kind of talked about that. Let's talk about this one. How does one go about reporting hair discrimination in a school or in a workplace? And Jasmine, I want to start with you because you have the HR experience. How would one go about reporting? And I do have some people in the comment sections that I know are HR people. So y'all feel free to jump on in as well.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me? I think the best way to go about reporting it is you need to find somebody, because I know it was hard for me to find people in even in working in HR that I can trust. So if you have a higher I guess authority or director that you can go to that you can trust regarding anything in a workplace, any incident in a workplace, especially when it comes to hair discrimination or any type of discrimination, where you can go to and report the issue, and it can be resolved. I had a situation at work before where I actually helped someone that was going through a situation at work, and it was going on for a really, really long time. She was practically being bullied, and she felt comfortable to come to me to talk to about everything that was going on, because she went to several different people and someone else in HR that just listened and just felt like she was just whining and crying about it, but didn't do anything about it to help her. So I was able to listen to her, so be that confidant for her, and then go to my director and let her know about what was going on, the issues, and then my director took the authority to do something about it, and the issue was resolved. So you just have to find someone that you trust that will actually do something and take everything into action to stop the discrimination in whatever situation you're going through at work.
Aisha, you work in higher ed. Not sure. Are you in HR and higher ed?
I am.
Okay. So in like, let's say we're in an institution of higher learning, what might be the protocol, if any?
Whew. Well, let me say this, because when you said that about you went into the interview and just decided if they weren't going to accept me as I am with the low air, with the low hair, you just were okay with that. In that same vein, I remember going through that, and I actually did the opposite. I decided, since it wasn't, I had two children, I needed the position. I went and purchased a wig, and knew that I had to wear this wig to get, for this acceptance of this position. Um, and so with that, I can definitely say the next day I remember, and I still had it on. I remember one of the young ladies that interviewed me. She asked me. She said, "Now, is that your hair?" That's not your hair, is it? And I felt kind of, I was I felt out of place, because this was after I had gotten the position now, but the question was still lingering. Like, that was still a concern as to whether or not that was my hair, even though, it was a wig. But my question was still the same. Why was that a concern? You have hired me, but we're still trying to pick me apart. So I will say this: when it comes to, complaints and you're needing to find someone that you can talk to, oftentimes we get the complaint as a confidential complaint. But when you're getting that complaint, the issue is there are certain things that you're going to share that are specific to you. So people are going to know who it is. How do you make people comfortable in that situation? That's kind of where we end up leaving the situation. We can come in and say, don't do this, don't do that, and it'll stop. But all eyes are on that person, because it's clear who was the person that filed the complaint. So you kind of have to figure out how, if the person's going to be comfortable in the situation. Oftentimes they will be for a time frame, and then it's more or less only a matter of time before they might decide, this is just not where I'm happiest. This is not where I'm thriving. So, you know, you do what you can in the moment. We come in, we try to, you know, correct the issue. But then, you know, like I said, you just have to figure out, does the person really feel comfortable in the space overall? And, you know, that's one of those things where time tells whether or not they will.
Thank you so much for sharing that, girl. I just was like, I wasn't wearing no wig. I was like, man, you know, I think if my kids was younger, but they like young adults now, and I was just like, I'm telling y'all, when you hit 50 and start going through menopause, it be certain things you just be like, look, this is me, and we either gonna rock with it or I don't need to be here. Like you just you know, I'm just letting y'all know in case y'all don't know. That's when you hit this age, that's what you think it is. We stop conforming at a certain point and you start embracing. So, but I totally understand making that decision. But then, you know, you're still feeling uncomfortable because after I got the perm, for the first time that I did it, I missed my locks. Like my locks were really a part of who I was, but I knew what I had to do. And then when I got the job, girl, somebody had the whole Confederate flag on their truck. Like I was like, it wouldn't have rolled overnight. So, you know, I did what I had to do in that moment. But years later, I was like, there's no need for me. So I think you really do have to assess the situation that you're going into. Roshana, what are your thoughts on this?
It's really a tricky one because, like all the ladies said, you can't really you I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some ways that you can, but you really can't because people are going to know it's you. And then they have different laws where it's like you have to have proof. And then if proof is your word, who's going to believe your word? And then, yeah, you can record, but then you have to deal with state laws of what you can and what you can't record. So it's a really fine line. But one thing one of my former supervisors taught me, if there's a way to reel people in, is do everything on paper, emails. If somebody sends you an email, make sure you keep a track of that, archive any and everything. If somebody does have you take meeting minutes or has you record a meeting, record everything that's going on and get different angles and zoom in. That's probably the best bet because the only thing that you have is possibly a paper trail. And sometimes people get upset and they say things in emails that they shouldn't. And that's the only proof you really have. So that's the best advice I can give.
And this is actually good advice. Let's see, Miss Washington in the comments, she stated that when you're filing a complaint, that you have to be clear on what was said, how it made you feel, and what it takes to resolve the issue. I always tell people, and I talk about this today on the podcast, Baldwin was right, that when you are, if a situation at work makes you feel uncomfortable, especially as a Black person, if you've probably been discriminated against, you in the moment, you may not know how to process it. You may feel uncomfortable going talk to somebody else in that moment. And my advice, just from experiences that I've had in my professional career, is if it makes you feel that uncomfortable, you probably need to go sit down and talk with an employment lawyer. Because we have become desensitized to so many things that take place that sometimes we don't even realize that we have been discriminated against until 2 years later when you sitting here on LinkedIn hearing people talk about hair discrimination and you like, wait a minute, like, you know what? That was me. Like, oh, like, and then you get mad all over again. But again, I think when it makes you feel uncomfortable and there is no neutral party to talk to, most lawyers will do a consultation for free. They will sit down and talk to you and let you know what is going on, what your rights are in your state. So if it's not going to cost you anything to have a conversation with an expert, which is an employment lawyer, so not your entertainment lawyer, not your lawyer that handle criminal cases, the lawyer that specializes in employment issues, sit down and have a conversation with them, and they may be able to tell you what to do at your place of employment because they've had to deal with them in court before. So like some will say, look, before you even pay me, you need to go do X, Y, and Z with them, and let's see how that works out. Like, let's try a couple of things first. So I think we need to be mindful of that. And so they doing whole history lessons in the comment section right now. So let's see. I want to talk about this one. And this is going to be our last question for tonight. How has my hair journey helped me develop as a person? So for each of you ladies, how has your hair journey helped you to develop as a person? And so we're going to start with Roshana, and we're going to do a round robin. So Roshana, tell us about your hair journey and how has it helped you to evolve as really a professional?
What I would say is when I was writing this, the chapter in the book, I was always thinking like, it's almost full circle, because if I had known before that I was enough, so much things that I could have done in the past differently, as far as just being confident in myself. And I feel like sometimes we have to go through that, because a lot of the stuff that I dealt with as far as hair was really young. Like my hair fell out when I was 14. I always had short hair. My hair never grew past my shoulders, probably was right here. So I always had to deal with that struggle of trying to get long hair, and always played around with the idea of being natural, but never fully went natural. But then sometimes you get sick and tired of just always feeling like I have to conform, and just like, screw it. I'm like, however it looks at this point, if it's neat and clean, it's however it looks. And I feel like that's the journey of my life, even as a professional, coming out of college, feeling like you have to always kind of fit in and conform in corporate, and then trying to find your own identity in this work world that we live in, where work is so significant and part of our culture. You get to a point where it's like, okay, this is who I am. I'm comfortable with this, and the right opportunities are going to come along. And I haven't had any issues with in business having my hair like this. And I tend to have clients that can relate more to me because they see how my hair is, they see how I carry myself, and we mesh a lot easier versus me trying to push myself into different crowds and different type of coaching entities, and it's not going to work. So I feel like when you're natural, when you become who you are, the right people are going to come to you. So at a certain point in my life, I was just like, whatever, it is what it is. They didn't like me before with the short hair. It's going to take this. So.
Love it, and truly agree. So Aisha, wrapping up, how has your natural hair helped you to evolve as a professional?
Honestly, I can say it has definitely brought me a lot of confidence. And with that, as Roshana mentioned about, realizing you're enough and you know a lot and you're able to stand by what you know. So for those that are interested in what you know, they'll seek you out if that's the audience you're meant to serve. If it's not, then you don't have to worry about being in that audience. The other thing I think it's taught me, because as I talk about in the book, not having to say everything to everybody about the things that you're doing. Sometimes moving in silence speaks volumes. And so with that, in making that transition to going to locks, which I decided to do, in the workplace, I didn't say anything, and I let other people say their things. And so it let me know who they were. And I didn't have to say anything. So once the reality came to light, it was as if, well, you said what you had to say. So there's really and it's not possible to unlearn that. So I just know where you stand, and I'm fine with it, because I know now where you stand. So I just think the hair journey overall has just been a wonderful one for me, one that's led me to a wonderful sense of confidence. And, I feel like now, like me, don't like me, love me. Okay, that's great too. Hair is mine. It's a choice. I get to do what I want to with it. So it's taught me a lot.
I love it. And wrapping up, Jasmine, take us home.
I definitely agree with the ladies, and what she said is your choice. My hair, my choice. And it definitely helped me a lot with confidence. not being confident to wear my hair natural, or showing my hair natural, or rocking it in its natural state. I've been more than confident now. I get lazy and I get my wigs and everything on, my protective styles, but I definitely feel a sense of like confidence and empowerment when I wear and rock my natural hair. And I also, when you think about wanting to go healthier, in monitoring your hair and having it, be natural and growing it, it goes into all aspects of your life. Like, you want everything to be natural. So you're looking at the way you eat. You're looking at it to be more healthy in that aspect. You're looking at all the products you're using topically on your body. And also what you're intaking in your body. Like, you want everything to be organic. You want everything to be natural. So the natural hair, I guess, journey takes over your whole overall health in a really good way. So it's been a great journey for me, and I'm still learning and still struggling, but it's been a great one.
Well, thank you so much, ladies, for taking time out of your schedules, for joining me tonight as I return back to LinkedIn Live. I want to thank everyone who joined us on LinkedIn and all of the great comments and just the dialogue that you all had. Like I said, history lessons going on, and women talking about their hair journey in the comments. So I truly love it, truly appreciate it. Make sure you all share this broadcast out. You can share it or here on LinkedIn and invite your followers to watch the replay, because again, I think this is a conversation that we need to have so that other Black women don't feel alone in their hair journey. And again, when you feel that you're being discriminated against, especially in the workplace, you know what steps you need to take. Okay. So if you would like to pre-order a copy of the anthology, you can contact any of these ladies on LinkedIn and order a copy from them. The official book will be out next month in February. And so, I will keep everyone updated on that. Next week, we will be back and we are going to be talking about hair shaming. So there's a difference between hair discrimination and hair shaming. And our topic with hair shaming is going to be about hair shaming in Black families. So, yeah, we going deep on this one, So again, thank you, ladies. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Roshana. Thank you, Jasmine. Make sure you all follow them here on LinkedIn. And again, if you'd like to pre-order a copy of the book, you can contact any of the authors. If you purchase a book from them, they will autograph it. So